What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to what I would like to call a real episode of the Nerdwide podcast. This is episode 98. I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my good friend and co-host, Chris Rivers. Now,
What's up,
Chris,
Tyler?
listen, I'm just excited to get back to a normal week for us here.
Right.
It's, work's been normal, nothing crazy, but it's been
hmm
a normal week. We got a lot of things to talk about. I've watched a bunch of TV, played a bunch of different video games we're going to talk about. Not a whole lot of heavy hitting news that's happened in the past 3 weeks that, responds like a big something we need to talk about, but we do have some things on here. But man, it's good to get back to normal. That's just about all I feel right now. How was your week?
Same. Back to normal. Um, just nice to be back into a normal rhythm.
Right.
And hopefully it stays that way for a while. I put in my request off this week so that we can go check out Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.
Which has still not done their tickets yet. I mean, we're
That's
maybe a month, well, yeah, less than a month out now, and they still haven't put their tickets for sale. So I'm like, what's up with that? So,
yeah.
because usually by now I'd already had them secured, ready to go, and all we have to do is just go. But
Probably tomorrow.
yeah, that would make sense though. I'd say when's AFC divisional games? Well, that's next week, right?
Uh-huh.
Because this is Super Wild Card weekend. So divisional game should be next week. I could see it like them dropping another trailer then and say, "Hey, here's your ticket trailer." So
Right.
hopefully it just doesn't take too long because I'm ready to watch it because
We don't need a we don't need a trailer to be hyped for.
no, we don't need any more. The most recent one that came out was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm going to put on here. Let's watch that today.
Okay.
Speaking of one of the news stories that you're going to talk about. Because
Sitting here before the show going, there's stuff that I meant to bring up, and yeah.
all right. Well, listen, let's jump right into it. We've only got one show to talk about. The movie we're reviewing and talking about, I'm really excited to to review, recap, whatever you want to call it. I'm really excited to talk about Black Adam. But before we get there, don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or podcasting service, whichever one you use. If you watch us on YouTube, subscribe there. If you listen to us on a podcasting service, subscribe there. If you enjoy the show, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a good rating on whatever podcasting app you use. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, make sure you leave us a comment down below of what we can do better, suggestions, things like that, because, we don't know if we're doing things wrong if you don't tell us. If you want to do more, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide. 3 different tiers for 3 different monetary values there, each increasing in price for our monthly subscription fee of the max dollars of 3. If you want to do that, and of course, if you do the $3 value or whichever one, you can suggest movies, TVs, books, comics, shows, anything you want us to do, play, watch, and we could talk about it just for your entertainment. But Chris, have you been watching anything these past 3 weeks on TV out of the ordinary?
No, nothing out of the ordinary. It's been kind of weird. I've been I've been checking out other stuff. There's some different YouTube content that I've been meaning to get to, some
Mm.
longer form videos, so stuff like that, but no shows.
Doesn't help that everything's on break right now, or was on break either. So
Right.
I've gone down several different rabbit holes. Teen Wolf, I jumped back down. I'm in
Oh.
almost at the end of season 3 now of 6 seasons,
hmm
because the movie and new series comes out in 2 weeks. So I was just trying to watch it, catch up. I watched that show starting in high school, and it ended about 3 or 4 years outside of high school. So it's kind of weird watching it and going back and seeing all of that. Jack Ryan season 3, I started. I'm about halfway through it. It's one of those that I can't watch at work. I have to be zoned in, dialed in, because so much happens, and especially in the background. If you don't pay attention to it, you're going to miss it. Circle season 5, Jamie and I are almost done with it. The finale is this Wednesday coming up. And then I watched a show called The Good Place. Thought I would enjoy it. I'm in season 3. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really not liking this. It's not hitting anything for me. Like I've chuckled a couple times, But I don't know if it's the concept. I mean, the actors and actresses are phenomenal and great.
Right.
But it's just, I think it's the story. I'm like, I'm just not invested in this. And I thought I would be because, he's the same guy that did Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office, those kind of shows. And I really enjoy those. But this one just
Right.
didn't hook me.
I love how you're in season 3 and you're like, yeah, I'm not.
That's just not doing it for me. Well, it was one of the ones I just had playing
Yeah.
and like kind of loosely was watching and stuff, but just didn't.
I watched the first season of that when it came out, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, but
Yeah.
I just never went back to it.
Well, there is a sitcom that I plan to start watching that we've talked about before, I think even on the show, that I've never seen all the way through, and now that I have HBO Max, I can. But it's going to have to wait until after Teen Wolf is done. It's called a little show called Big Bang Theory. I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to stay too long on it, but I've seen here and there episodes, but never watched it all the way through, and I feel like it's right up my alley. And the episodes I do watch, I do enjoy, so I just need to sit down and just listen to it and watch it. So eventually I'll get there. But I've watched a little bit of Voltron as well, just hitting the nostalgia for some reason. Oh, because my buddy Bill Clark, I think you might have met him. You might have met him at our wedding. He's getting married soon, and he asked me to be one of his groomsmen. Well, he hired Josh Keaton off of Cameo to ask me to be in the wedding. And Josh Keaton, he's played Spider-Man, he's plays the Black Paladin and Voltron and things like that. So that was really cool, and that's what got me started on watching it again. Because, I've only seen that 16 times. So.
Now, when you say Voltron, you're talking about
The most proper one, yes. Yeah, the best one.
the most recent one.
Yeah, the best one. I mean, I've even got the Funko Pop right.
I'm talking about 1980s Voltron.
If I could find a way to watch it, I want to. Just because I want to see where the source kind of stuff came from. Because I've got the new comics and stuff like that from this generation. So
Yeah, as a kid, I had the one that it was tall, all the lines interlocked.
Well, I've got it's actually mine is upstairs in the bonus room from this one. I was actually playing with it, messing with it earlier, just because it's actually combined right now.
You were right the first time you were playing with it.
Me and Jamie we were in the bonus room. We're talking about redoing the bonus room, and it's sitting on top of one of the chairs for some reason. I think still I'm not messing with it. And so I was messing with it while we were talking. I wasn't playing with it. It wasn't bath time yet.
Sure.
Let's get right into our shows. Of course, we are going into National Treasure Edge of History, Episode 6, titled Frenemies. Full-on spoilers for those who are just tuning in to our regularly scheduled programming. We're going to thelaughingplace.com by Bill Gausel again. Escaping the police, Jess and wonders why Billy saved her from being arrested. Billy tells her that if she had known that Jess was the daughter of Rafael and Manuela Rios, then things would have started off differently. Billy then shows Jess a medallion just like hers, and Billy says that she is also a member of the Daughters of the Plume Serpent. Like, I love these shows, but like some of these are very obvious. And I like Jess. Of course, Jess plays like a great detective character, and she catches on fairly quickly, which I really enjoy about this. Billy tells Jess that her parents started the search for the treasure together. Billy offers to buy Jess's dinner and tells her everything she knows, or just a free ride home. Oren, Tasha, and Ethan are searching for Jess and wonders why she won't answer her phone. A short text message to the group tells them she is fine and that when she returns, Jess will explain everything. At a fancy restaurant, Billy proves to Jess that she knows everything about her. Looking at the medallion, Billy vocalizes Jess's skepticism and then shows Jess a picture of her father with her brother Sebastian. Billy begins to tell the story that Salazar killed Jess's father and her brother. Billy warns Jess that Salazar is out there looking for the treasure and that together they can protect it from Salazar and validate the work of her mother. Billy proceeds to tell Jess that Liam has been working for her for quite some time and offered to steal the journal for her. Billy proposes that she and Jess join forces to protect the treasure from Salazar. And Bill goes on to say Zeta Jones is really good in this scene and believable, but you just know that Billy will go back on her word. I agree. Zeta Jones is a phenomenal actress. I mean, the majority of these characters in the show are great. The red-haired henchman, not so much. Just personally, just not vibing with her.
Right.
On board her yacht, Billy shows Jess her operations, and Jess meets Casey, who impersonated FBI. Casey's who it is. Who's played by Brita Wool, who impersonated an FBI agent to follow Jess earlier. Jess has shown the journal and reveals to the group that Sacagawea made the journal entries. A broken word puzzle left by Sacagawea offers a clue to the next site, which turns out to be the well at the Alamo. Billy shows Jess the Aztec and Maya piece of the maps, and Billy believes that the 2 boxes will help bring them to the Incan piece. Using the magnetized lodestone in the boxes will help lead them to the next piece at the Alamo. Tasha is waiting all night for Jess to return, and when she does, Jess starts to know how Liam stole the journal. Tasha tells her to forget him, and rather than planning with her friends, Jess tells Tasha that she wants to do this all on her own. Tasha doesn't take this well and storms out of the apartment. Jess is looking through her mementos of her mom and thinking about what to do next. Tasha has made her way over to Oren's place and is talking about her fight with Jess. Also, did not see this relationship coming, or Oren and Tasha. Well, maybe I was just blind to it, but I didn't see that connection. So I'm glad it's happened. But
they had it before, right? And they split.
Oh, that's right.
So this was the reconnecting.
Yeah, a little rekindling here. A little love story. Oren tries to make sense of their fallout and offer advice on what to do via watching Captain America the Winter Soldier. Now, I'm going to say I thought I pressed a button somewhere on my TV accidentally because it had the Winter Soldiers perfectly on screen. I was like, did I actually hit something on the remote or what? But no, it zooms out. I was like, that was very cheeky, very well done. Way to use your properties. The next morning, Oren is excited by a rekindle of his relationship with Tasha when Ethan walks in and wonders what's going on. Ethan goes to Jess's door with coffee and they talk about the previous day's events. Jess is concerned about how dangerous things are getting and tells Ethan that she could have gotten everyone in trouble, including herself. Liam is missing and Ethan tells Jess to go look for him. At Liam's home, Jess enters the clue room and sees his secret room is in disarray. Someone has ransacked the room and Jess is surprised by an assailant, the same one who followed them to Graceland and was staking out the funeral of Peter Sadusky. Casey enters the room and the madman jumps out the window. There is something more going on with this guy. Like, I don't think he's a part of Billy's entourage, and I honestly don't think he's a part of Salazar's entourage either, but I think that's more believable than anything. Like, that's the guy that Salazar's keeping an eye on and everything, so.
You wonder if he's working for Ben.
Right.
If somehow he's trying to keep her from, maybe he's worried about her safety, and so he's trying to keep her from going.
Yeah. And kind of
getting too close to the treasure.
Oh, because that could be true too. Because they were working on something. Because Riley said a couple episodes ago that we've been working on something for several years. What if it's the same thing of Riley and Ben looking on this treasure, but they're kind of, hey, let's take a step back and wait for someone else to solve this one kind of scenario. But maybe there's something more. If Jess's dad really wasn't dead, I would say that was him. But we already know her mom and dad are really dead. So maybe an uncle? I mean, just throwing out possibilities here because there's something more than what's being led on here.
Mm-hmm.
Casey is surprised by Peter's clue room, and while she scans the room, Jess wonders why she's there. Jess holds on to doubts about Billy. Casey assures her that she understands her doubts, but Billy isn't the bad person in this story. She proceeds to tell a compelling story of Billy taking her in from the street and paying for her education and saving her life. Agent Ross lays out her suspicions to her coroner friend. Ross believes Peter Sadusky was killed over clues to an ancient treasure, and then shows her pictures from the USS Kidd where the kidnapping exchange took place. Ross is encouraged to contact her DC contacts for help, but Ross is not willing to because she has a tainted past. Find out that she arrested a murderer who she thought was a murderer but wasn't, and they killed again, and she's got a guilty conscience about that. Made the FBI look bad, which completely believable story here. So I do like Ross. At the Alamo, Billy, Casey, and Jess are at the well and trying to avoid the Rangers and tourist cameras. A reenactment of the battle will allow for the three to get into the well without being seen. Jess returns home and leaves a note for Tasha that prompts her to search for her friend. Ethan breaks up with his girlfriend only to discover that Liam has been in the hospital the whole time. On board Billy's plane, Jess is starting to connect with Billy and learning more about her mom. Casey outlines the plan for what they're going to do during the Alamo search. Dressed in costumes, the three blend in with other participants, which allows Billy, Jess, and Casey to access the well without being bothered. Liam wakes up to Ethan at the hospital, and he confesses to stealing the journal to keep Billy, who saw her at the Giver's ball. He describes being attacked at the ball by Casey and being dumped into the river, presumed dead, which was really extreme. Like when we saw the suit and the bag, I was like, oh, so he's in the hospital this whole time. And then we show him, and he is rough looking. I was like, oh, okay, so Billy and her team really messed him up. Is what happened here.
And when we talked about that episode, we theorized that, he must have seen Billy or someone that works for Billy, and that's why he took off. So
yeah, I think that was your theory on that one. So, I mean, you nailed it.
You could just tell that he and Jess they're getting close. He wasn't going to stab her in the back or something like that.
Because we already had the misdirect with the shoe bug and everything.
That character has really only recently gotten into the clue hunting anyway. He didn't want anything to do with it. So
yeah, I think he's the one that's grown the most over this whole season so far. Yeah, from a guitar player, but
still not a fan of Ethan though.
No,
although he's doing the right thing. So.
Yeah, he's that best friend that I loved her for so long, but she doesn't love me anymore. Kind of blah blah blah. Will they? Won't they? Kind of thing. Yeah. Jess climbs up from the well with no results. She is unable to find the next clue box, and Billy isn't willing to take no for an answer. She takes the satchel with the other clues down into the well. Jess traps Billy in the well and escapes from the Alamo. Attacked by Billy's many minions, Tasha races into the crowd to help Jess, and they escape together with Oren driving them to safety. Jess shows Oren and Tasha the treasure map from Billy, and that the next clue isn't at the Alamo, but in a town called Alamo in Mexico. Back at the Alamo, there's a lot of names here. Billy is being arrested while Casey makes a mysterious phone call to Peter Sadusky's nurse, who delivers a USB drive to Agent Ross. I always knew there was something up with him. Like, he was just conveniently placed too much.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he's a part of Billy's crew. The nurse makes the accusation that Jess murdered Peter Sadusky and hands a USB drive. Tasha explains that the well in the town of Alamo is real, but a bank was built on top of the well. 20 years ago, a bank robber blew a hole in the bank and found the well. The worst news is that the robber was Diego Salazar. Jess plans to speak to Salazar and explains to Tasha and Oren that Salazar killed her father, and now she wants to confront him. Jess believes that Salazar is the key and that speaking to him would require her to go to Mexico. Oren points out that because of her DACA status, that if she went to Mexico, she would never be able to come back. Jess informs her friends that her bags are already packed. I'm trying to remember the first episode, and I might need to go back and watch just the first 5-10 minutes of it. But I'm pretty sure her dad's the one that broke into that well under Salazar's rule, and that's why Salazar come to kill him because of that box.
Could be.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Now we know that she's probably going to go down there.
Yeah.
But we also know that Ben has a private jet, so he can fly her back into the country.
Good call. That's I wonder if the writers put that in there, because that's a very good call. She could just say, hey, I need to get down there and not be known that I'm down there. But
right.
We will see. I love, I know I've said it before, but what I love about the National Treasure things is relating things to real life history and putting things there. So like when they said the well at the Alamo, I said, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But no, it's a real life town in Mexico called Alamo. So a lot of funny Remember the Alamo jokes in this show. So I'm ready.
They're doing a really good... We got, 3 episodes left?
So 10. So we got 4 episodes.
We still have 4 to go?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm trying to remember. I want to say we're supposed to see Riley. I think that character's supposed to be in 5 episodes. If I'm remembering right. So he wasn't in this one.
Right. Let's see how many... Because they say how many episodes he's going to be in.
Yeah.
Will Riley be in...
I still think we get Nick Cage back.
I don't think there's a chance that we don't have him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. I don't want to look at IMDb because they have been wrong in the past of saying, especially with our She-Hulk, I think is what they did with Daredevil. But I'm trying to see.
That could have been a misdirect.
Yeah, it's 5 episodes still. That's what it says.
Okay. So He's been in what, 2?
Yeah, so we still have 3 more left with him, which
So
I imagine will
we're
be the last 3, or do one this next one with the Jet, and then skip an episode and have him in the last 2.
hmm
It's exciting. I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
Next week's episode, I'm excited. It's just a fun show to watch.
it is.
Eh,
It's really fun.
Let's get to our news here. Let's talk about some fun things. Which our number one news story here took way too damn long to
hmm
even announce or even say anything about.
Yeah.
Wednesday will be coming back for a season 2. I am going to Netflix.com while they're to Doom stuff. This is by Ariana Romero. Wednesday Addams has been put through the ringer. She's been stalked by a bloodthirsty monster. Her raven gown is ruined by red paint, and she's had to brave the scariest threat of them all, other teenagers. Where things are looking up for Nevermore Academy's most popular goth, Wednesday has officially been renewed for season 2. Quote, we can't wait to dive headfirst into another season and explore the kooky, spooky world of Nevermore. Wednesday Season 1 co-showrunners Miles Miller and Alfred Goat exclusively tell to Doom. We just need to make sure Wednesday hasn't emptied the pool first. The renewal comes with a video announcement promising more torture ahead for Wednesday to Season 2. Naturally, the amateur detective and mystery writer wouldn't have it any other way. Wednesday sticks to her guns, and she's not out to please anybody. Ortega tells to Doom, which as someone who used to be an immense people pleaser, I really respect. Finally, it goes on to show series broke the Netflix record for most hours viewed in a single week twice. In the first week, it raked in 341.23 million hours viewed. In its second, 411.29 million hours viewed. So,
I think it's interesting that we're going to stay at Nevermore. I
yeah,
thought they might. I thought they might move it, but
there's still more mystery. There's too many monsters, and you gotta bring all your characters back too. They also go on to say that although Wednesday herself loves social media, hashtag Wednesday Addams is a star on TikTok and has amassed over 22 billion views. With millions of TikTokers looking to replicate that just a bit makeup look, and then and even Lady Gaga could not deny that Bloody Mary dance. So, which is now the number 1 on the iTunes soundtrack chart. That dance song, which is really catchy, and even Stella knows and dances too. So I mean,
the Cramps Goo Goo Muck.
yeah. We're gonna get who do we not have seen yet for season 2 out of the family? Who's the hairy guy?
Cousin It.
Cousin
It. Yeah,
We'll see him, right?
I would think so. I would think It appears.
No, I don't think there's a reason why we wouldn't have that yet, because we've got everybody else in the family, especially Thing, Mom and Dad. Granny hadn't even been mentioned, I don't think.
So could be interesting.
Sounds like I need to go back and rewatch some of the original content.
Yeah.
Number 2 I have here, the final season of The Flash begins February 8th on the CW. They have mentioned, so Danielle Panabaker is directing it's either 8 or it's episode 9. And it's a crossover episode. So we've got Stephen Amell coming back, which is the big one. And there were some other ones coming back into the show.
David Ramsey,
which I would expect him to, because they're still moving forward with his show, by the way. That hasn't been canceled or anything. The College University of Superheroes, which I'm like, if you're going to cancel anything, now would be the time to do it, or it's past time rather. But we will see. I don't know if I don't think it's on hold either. I think it's going forward, but there should be some good fun. I think that's actually, I need to set up the YouTube TV to record it, because I think I am going to watch this one every week as it comes out, just because it's the final season. I want to be a part of that, because it's only like 12 episodes, so we will see. I'm excited for it. Unfortunately, it's ending, but it's weird though, because that's our last Arrowverse show.
Yeah.
And the end of a CW era is over after that. So, which is weird, because that's one of the things that brought on the Heroverse, the Heroes verse. What was our original podcast?
Hero Cravings.
Hero Cravings. I mean, that's what brought it on, was the CW shows. Man, that's crazy to think about. And something else crazy to think about. HBO Max is increasing its monthly price to $15.99 a month for no ads.
No.
Dude, we are. I meant to send you a picture of that this week that I've got on my phone. I'll pull it up here. It's about cord cutting, and like, look at all that. So cable is like
Yeah.
$80, and then Netflix and HBO Max and everything else on there, and you're sitting at $10 more than you would for that. And I'm like, it's getting a little much, man. And they keep increasing their prices. It's going to be one of those things where I start canceling things until one of the shows, new season of the shows come on, and then re-upping it, and then canceling it after I get done. And just because I mean, sure, $16 a month isn't that bad, but that's not my only streamer. So that's where the problem is.
If it was like it was years ago, where it was Netflix, and then not long after that, we also added like Hulu and Amazon Prime. If it was those three, okay, $15 a month.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad, but everybody's doing it. You've got Paramount Plus, you've got Peacock, you've got Disney Plus, and on top of that, you got their bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus. So if you cut cable and you need to watch sporting events, you kind of need ESPN Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a sports fan as well as wanting to watch this other content, you might need MLB TV, NFL Sunday Ticket.
It just never ends.
No.
NBA Plus or NBA TV. I mean, it just never ends. And I wish we would stop doing this. And I don't understand why we're doing this. HBO Max, I feel like, for me, is one of the weaker ones to watch. I come off saying that after Game of Thrones being my number one for 2022. But that's only for a couple weeks here that I'm done. But we've also got Last of Us coming up. So we'll see. And I'm very excited about that one, by the way, because that comes out in an hour and a half from now, and I am watching it live, and I am super stoked.
If we're done, you're watching. If
we're done, well,
we'll be done.
Yeah, be one of our short shows.
If not, Tyler will be like, "Hey, we're going to record after."
Yeah, we're just going to pause and come back after it, and then we'll talk then. Releases this week, Thursday, January 19th. That 90s show premieres on Netflix. Are you interested in that at all?
Not really.
I watched the trailer. I watched some, not a lot, of that 70s show. But this one, I'm like, no, like, why? Like, none of your main characters are in it besides the parents. And, like, the parents were the least parts of the episodes. So, I mean,
I think a lot of the original characters are coming back for cameos and guest spots.
Well, that one guy's, I don't think, the curly-headed guy, I forget his name. He got canceled. So a lot of bad things he did.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Because I don't think they've gone to court yet. Friday, January 20th, the new season of The Legend of Vox Machina on Prime Video. I think that's just season 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, bada bing, bada boom.
There you go. Movie time. Did you watch anything else this week as far as movies?
No, that's what I was talking about before the show. I haven't watched any movies. Like it's all been TV, mainly for me.
Yeah, there were a lot of nights where I started to watch something and then I think, well, I'll start something in another hour or so, and then another hour would pass, and I'd be like, yeah, it's maybe in 30 more minutes. And I never really did. So, I remember before the show we were looking. I thought it was a celebrity death that we failed to mention on our last show. It was not, but what we did fail to mention on our last show was Get Well Jeremy Renner.
Oh, that's right.
He kind of got run over by a snowplow.
Dude, his injuries look gnarly. Like because we were talking when it happened. You and I were texting back and forth because we read like originally they were coming out saying it ran over his leg and he was being life flighted to a hospital. And then I think it came out and said that he got like hit full on by it, not just run over. And I was like, oh, that's not good. But then he came out and tweeted out or Instagrammed out a picture of him in the hospital. He said, I'm well, thank you for all your blessings. He just got out surgery. He said, long road to recovery and things like that. But he's been posting videos and pictures. But he posted a picture of him with all of his, all the ICU staff. And he looked rough. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man, it's going to be a long recovery. I don't, of course, going into his work and his career, I don't think we get a Hawkeye season 2 for a while or anything from him for a while. Just because physical therapy is going to be a bitch.
I could see them having him, on a phone or something, like we hear his voice.
Yeah.
But
because he's not going to be acting for a hot minute, I don't think.
So,
but glad he's alive. Glad he is doing well though, because that was some scary news.
It was. I think it was New Year's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
The New Year's Day or the day after, because oh man, that was. Whew.
All right. So our film of the week. I'm going to say this. We both, off the top, we were very nervous about this.
Yes. Skeptical, even.
Because everything we had heard, Black Adam was getting just roasted.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get through the plot summary and then we'll. Reawakening after 5,000 years, Black Adam becomes the world's ruthless protector and anti-villain to take on the likes of Superman and Wonder Woman. Now in the 21st century, Black Adam must face off against the Justice Society of America and its heroes, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. The fate of the world hangs in the balance. Now it's kind of not exactly, but he's an anti-hero.
Yes.
They described him there as an anti-villain. That's not really
anti-villain is just a hero.
he's an anti-hero. So, the film was better than I expected based on what I'd heard. I gave it a 2.5 on Letterboxd.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up kind of, right in the middle of the road. I'm looking at IMDb right now. 207,000 people on IMDb have given this a cumulative 6.4 out of 10.
That's not bad.
The cast, I thought the cast was really good. I mean, Dwayne Johnson has a good performance here. Aldous Hodge is Hawkman. Pierce Brosnan is in this.
Stole the movie. Phenomenal.
Sarah Shahi is Adriana. I can't remember the character's last name.
Tomaz.
Tomaz. We've got. I'm trying to remember if there was another. Let me look through here. If there was another big name. Jennifer Holland appears in this very briefly as Amelia Harcourt. Henry Winkler has a cameo as Uncle Al to Atom Smasher.
that was so funny.
and of course,
yeah, I'm trying to scroll to her.
Amanda Waller.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember the actress's name.
I am right there with you. I cannot remember her name right now.
I can't either. I don't.
Why is she not even... IMDb doesn't have her listed.
At all?
Amanda Waller. No, I don't have her listed at all on here.
Viola Davis.
Yeah. No, there she is, way down here. Uncredited. What do you mean uncredited?
I guess they didn't list her in the credits. But anyway, the film starts off with this this view 5,000 years before, and we see this basically the enslavement of these people. They're trying to mine this mineral called Eternium. I had He-Man flashbacks.
That's where I knew Aldous Hodge from. One Night in Miami.
Yeah,
Like the whole movie, I was like, I know him, but he's a great actor. I forget what I know him from. And
he
I
was
meant to look
also
last night. But
he was also in a really good show for a few years there called Leverage.
mmm.
A really good show.
He also
Um,
played Green Lantern in one of the animated movies.
yeah.
Huh.
So these enslaved peoples are trying to mine this mineral called eternium, and
Just a cool name, by the way. I really like that.
yeah, um, and the king of this, and I'm looking for him, King Octon,
Mm-hmm.
is he just wants it so he can become powerful, right? He basically wants to become a god, and we see this man find it. He finds some and turns it over to one of the guards, and the guard apparently the king had said he would compensate whoever found some, and the guy just says, I just want what's coming to me. And so the guard stabs him in the gut and throws him off
Oh,
the cliff. Um,
what a
and
misdirect that whole first scene was, though.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. The
well done.
we see this little boy, and he's ready to lead a revolution. Like he's like, we can fight, we can take them on. And he goes up to what's his father, and we just see the father from the back.
Right.
And everything that we see leads us to believe, and it is accurate, that he becomes Black Adam,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
The champion.
But we find out later that he turned that power over to his father,
Mm-hmm.
which is Dwayne Johnson.
Which is
And that's,
so. What was really cool about that scene where he transfers the power over, because like he's more of like a teenager. His version of the champion.
mhm.
And so that actor, I don't have it listed on here, but he plays young The Rock on the show The Rock, Young Rock, that we watch every week. And so it was
Yeah,
really cool to see the teenager actor play that actor play his son in this show, in this movie. It was really cool. I don't know what came first, but it was really well done that they did that.
that is really cool. Um, so basically, the Eternium that has been mined is used to make a crown. And there are other elements or other pieces of the Eternium that have actually found their way out. And one is used for a necklace that Adriana
Mm,
wears around her neck. And the champion defeats the king. The kingdom is basically destroyed. But it doesn't truly free the people because they continue to be enslaved mainly by colonizers.
right.
The British have come in there and they're basically running the country. They've set up all these checkpoints all these years later. Um, People can't go in and out
Mm-hmm.
freely, and it's really because the British are now there trying to find Eternium,
Right.
and they already have it. So I wasn't really sure. I was like, I guess they're just mining more
Yeah, they were
and
mining more.
and looking for the crown, but they have these flying motorcycles, basically, right? That
Those things are badass.
yeah, but they run on Eternium.
They can
So,
phase through things. They can like it's really cool how they set those up.
but they ended up with it's basically Adriana and her son Amon, who is a sharp kid in this,
Mm-hmm.
and he's busy trying to get Black Adam to use a catchphrase,
To be the
and
hero, because
yeah,
his room's plastered with the Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman all over. And he's like,
Batman,
we
yeah.
finally have a hero here, and it was just I thought that was very well done.
The thing that I thought was interesting though is when the Justice Society shows up, right? It's Hawkman, Cyclone, Atom Smasher, and Doctor Fate, and they're trying to stop Black Adam because he doesn't show mercy,
Yeah, essentially
right?
he just kills, and they're like, I don't know, you can't be doing this. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
if you're in his way, but he doesn't just do it indiscriminately. He identifies a threat and he
hmm
neutralizes it.
yeah, in various awesome ways.
Yeah, but they point out to the Justice Society, Adriana does, that you're coming here telling us that you're trying to bring peace, but where were you for the past however many years? You
Where
know,
have you
when
been when we're still being
yeah,
oppressed?
and now that we have a hero, you come in and want to stop him.
hmm
And it's like, yeah, these teams take it upon themselves to decide what justice is, and the people there didn't want any part of it.
Oh yeah, they did a good job of showing that as well because all the people were booing them, telling them to get out and stuff like that, and being behind the champion and everything. It was very well done of how they portrayed that and not making it feel like it was unbelievable either. So
Yeah. But as the film goes on, they find the crown, which it's very cool because it's in this chamber and it's just hovering
hmm
in midair, and it's been there for thousands of years.
just
Just
in this random mountain that no one's thought to mine yet.
right. So as it turns out, Adriana and her son Amon are trying to keep the crown from falling into Ishmael's hands. Ishmael's someone that they thought they could trust, but he's actually a descendant of the ancient king,
hmm
and he wants the power for himself. He believes it's his birthright, basically.
Yeah.
And so you've got the Justice Society for a chunk of the film trying to stop Black Adam, who's trying to protect Adriana and Amon and the rest of the community from Ishmael and these British occupiers.
hmm
And so you've got two or three conflicts going on throughout the thing until finally Ishmael does get the crown. And he says, I can't remember what the word was that he said, but it's basically the demon's version
Death
of
before life or something like that. And then he says, "Oh, he says his name. Starts with the S. Sabak."
Sabak.
Yeah.
And so at that point, he becomes this, like a demon.
It's just a demon, and it was very cool looking.
Got the horns that go
Yeah,
straight back.
the
Those
upside
come
down
into play.
star and everything. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and they say there's only one person that can defeat him, and it's Black Adam, who at that point had said Shazam and given up his power,
hmm
and was at a facility run by Waller.
Yep. And he
Where
said,
he
"Don't ever
was,
let me say that word again,"
yeah,
because he couldn't really
Doctor
control his rage.
Doctor Fate sacrifices himself to be able to get word to him telepathically
hmm
uh, that they need him. That has hit this level. So shows up. They battle. He battles Sabak, and finally they all team up on Sabak to kind of hold him in place while Black Adam gets behind him and takes one horn in each hand. And I was curious what they were going to do, and he just rips him
Ripped
in half.
straight in half. Dude, that was so cool.
So I did give it 2.5 stars. I would say it's worth a watch. I don't know if you would. I like to have all the superhero stuff, so I'll probably buy it. Um, I don't know how often I'll go back. I'll watch it again, but I don't know how often. It's not a Spider-Man. It's not an
Right.
Iron Man. It's not something on that level for me. It's not the Nolan Batman franchise. It's
Yeah.
not the most recent Batman. It's a superhero film. Um, but
So
I gave it 2.5.
I gave it 4 stars. I
Really?
really enjoyed this movie. And I don't know if it's because I went with such low expectations. I have a couple gripes, which is not which reason not 4.5 or 5 stars. It's the the overuse of slow motion, and it became like so noticeable that at the beginning I was like, oh, okay, cool, we're doing a bunch of slow motion stuff, and then by like the third act, I was like, okay, we are using a lot of slow motion. Everything that's being done is being in slow mo. Everyone's superpowers being done in slow mo, and which was cool for the first half of the movie, but started getting on my nerves. There were some CGI shots that you clearly tell was CGI. But other than that, I felt like every actress brought their A game for this film. Some of the jokes landed really hard for me. Some of the ones I was like, oh, okay, that's a little cringy. One of the ones that Hawkman said in Doctor Fate, like it was a very I texted my cousin this. That's the reason I know I can repeat it or say it again, because like we had this running gag of saying just very cliche, just gross quotes, and it was, "I never thought I'd be happy to see you here," and the other guy going, "That makes two of us." I was like, okay, that's a little cringy for my takes, but overall, I enjoyed this. Like, I really hate we're probably not getting Black Adam again. Like, I know for any time soon, Peter Safran and James Gunn said that they've kind of parted ways, and for the foreseeable future, Black Adam's not in it, which after watching this movie, I don't think it's the right call personally, because I really did enjoy this. Like the Justice Society, I mean, Hawkman and Doctor Fate like both killed it. Like I really, every time they were on screen, I loved the fight scene. One of the many fight scenes in the apartment where Doctor Fate is sitting in a chair and Black Adam and Hawkman are fighting in the apartment, and he's just kind of teleporting from each location and just saying little quips was so funny, and I loved it. Had a lot of heart. Like I really loved Amon, him wanting a big hero for Kondak, and wanting and being your traditional teenager. Like if I came across a superhero as a teen, I'm like, oh, you have to have a catchphrase. You're gonna need a better names. Teft Adams aren't really the best, and stuff like that. He goes, I want to put you on a lunchbox. And Black Adam going, I don't need to be on a lunch box or something like that. It's just those things are very good, and I love Dwayne Johnson, so that doesn't help anything with this film. But the cameo, Chris, had me wanting more so damn bad. And it wasn't what I liked and then I didn't like at the very, very, very end, where Black Adam has the classic comic book cover of him sitting on the throne, all spared out with his knee up and everything. I was like, oh, this is an awesome way to end the movie. And then he flies up and crushes it down, and he goes, I don't need to be a king, I'm a protector. I was like, all right, that lost me. Should have just left it on the throne and that ended it. But then you had the post-credit scene of Amanda Waller on a drone come in. She goes, I can't let you be. If you step foot out of Kondak, then you're going to have issues to deal with. And he goes, I know people on this. I know people who can take you down. And he goes, I don't know if there's anybody on this planet that could take you down. She goes, I'm not talking about someone from this planet. And then he destroys the drone. And sure enough, of course, this got spoiled for us, was Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. And then you see him in the haze of it all. It's like, okay, so that's all they're going to do. But no, he steps through the haze. And he says a quip or something like that. And Black Adam just looks at him like he was going to challenge him. And then it ends. It's like, oh, I really, really, really want that. And then with Shazam being such a good movie as it is, this is Shazam's nemesis, his arch villain, all this stuff. And we're not going to get a showdown. Like, we don't know if Shazam 3 is going to happen after this under Peter and James's, tutelage or whatever you want to call. But I would really, really, really like to see them go to blows. But we're not going to see that, unfortunately.
I did like Hawkman's estate.
Yes, very cool. And especially, I'm a sucker for that X-Men style. There's a plane underneath the front of it, and everything's kind of scoots back and everything. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
So I agree with the slow motion. I think that they got carried away. It was cool, and especially that scene at the beginning where they first start shooting at Black Adam, and he catches the first bullet, and he's sitting there and he's looking at it as the other bullets are going by him.
Yes.
And he's just like, what is this? Because he's 5,000 years old.
Yeah, he goes, your magic's not going to work on me. And I was like, yeah, that's a cool way to do that.
Before long, they were doing slow motion with
literally everything.
Doctor Fate would do something, and they would show it forming in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hawkman would start to swoop in, and they would kind of slow it down a
Yep.
little. It's like, did you have a runtime you had to meet?
Right.
We're adding seconds with every shot. I don't. So I wasn't a fan of that. I think part of what got me to mark it down, uh, I felt like they didn't leave like you said. He's Shazam's arch nemesis, but they didn't give us anything to root against Black Adam for.
Right.
You know
Like
what I mean?
there
Like,
was no like sure he's killing people, but they're all
but these are
oppressors
bad
and
people.
yeah, it's not like he's just killing random good people, which they tried to do it when he gave up his powers with his out of control rage because he almost killed the kid and the mom.
Hmm.
And but it was very like that was again a really good scene and that was a good use of slow-mo. But
Yeah.
everything leading up to it just started getting out of control. And even the music, I meant to mention this. So during that very first fight scene where he's fighting the whole army with the helicopters and tanks and everything, we had epic battle music with him in the temple and him fighting all those guys. And then he comes out to like we switch to mid fight when he goes to the army, and it's like a popular rock song, or like from the early 2000s. Like, why did we switch? Because this song does not. I forget what song it was. I meant to make a note of it, but like it was like a very epic, like Hans Zimmery music going on, like a bunch of drums and horns and things, and then it just goes into that music. I was like, that's another big miss for me. But but yeah, a missed opportunity for him to because he is a villain. Any comics you look at, he is a villain. He is also an oppressor. He's a king, and but they made him be a good guy in this, which is fine. But
Well, they
we're
took
not rooting against him. So
what should have been a character arc over 3, 4, 5 movies,
yeah,
and they condensed it all down into one, where pretty much he immediately connects with the kid, with Amon,
mm-hmm.
and he connects with the mom, and it's like immediately he starts to be humanized.
Right.
Like, these are people I'm not going to hurt.
There was that stupid line he said, because I don't want you around because you're going to teach my son violence. And he said, "Oh, then you will teach him violence." She said, "Oh, no one's going to teach him violence." He goes, "The dad's not going to teach him violence." And then like this when we learn to get killed. I love those stupid lines like that because you got a person who's not been alive for 5,000 years. Um,
Right.
and we didn't even talk about the Council of Wizards from
Right.
Shazam and stuff like that, which they had a lot of the same actors. Jaimon Honsu, I know I'm butchering his name. He's the one that gives Shazam his powers, which they show at the end of the movie because he killed all the wizards. Black Adam did, except for him. And I want to go back and watch Shazam because he talks about them selecting a wrong champion, and now he's the only one left. So that's why he doesn't give people the champion powers anymore when he's talking about Black Adam. So I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, but again, and again, that conversation, right? It's not reflected in the way that they portray Black Adam in
Mm-mm.
this movie. He's made a hero out of, um, and that's fine in the end if they want to take the character that way.
Right.
But we should have seen the villainy. Like you
Right.
said, he should have sat on that throne and said, "I know best."
He should have done that at the beginning if we were going to do his arc this way, and given us a reason to be like, oh no. So the Justice Society is right here, but they didn't give us that, and even they didn't even give us that at the end either, which I really wish they would have because that would have been
It should have
really
been
cool.
it should have been him taking power, because who's going to stop him?
Right.
And he knows best, and the people are fine with it until they start to realize, oh, this is more oppression.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really our champion. And then they want to have him learn his lesson by the end of it. Cool, but we never got the arc.
Right.
Not really. So
Oh, I thought
anyway,
you'd be higher on that movie.
no, the story is the main thing that got me. I think the performances were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
If the story had been up to the performances, then yeah, I'd have probably been right there with you. But could not do it. So next week we're going to review The Pale Blue Eye. This is Netflix, correct?
Yes. Netflix
And
original.
Christian Bale is probably the big name in this.
Mm-hmm.
It involves him as a detective um, trying to solve a murder case and enlisting the help of a West Point cadet named Edgar Allan Poe.
I'm really excited.
Yeah,
It's going
it's
to be a
gonna,
good one.
gonna be really good. All right, notable news. This first one is going to come from um, Variety. Well, first, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is hitting Disney Plus on February the 1st.
Mm. Mm.
I might watch it again.
I think I know I'm going to, just because I don't know, just to because I feel like I came out so low on it. I just want to give it another shot just to see.
Yeah. From Variety.com, this is the byline goes to Adam B. Vary and J. Kim Murphy. Angela Bassett wins Golden Globe for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever as first actor to earn a major award for a Marvel movie. Um, she won it for her performance as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, making the 64-year-old the first actor ever to win a major individual acting award for a movie based on Marvel Comics. First off, she does not look 64.
Not at
Uh,
all.
It says that the evening marked Bassett's second win and second nomination at the Globes. She took home the trophy for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy for 1993's Tina Turner biopic, What's Love Got to Do with It? Um, she said, I got to find my words. I'm so nervous. My heart is just beating, Bassett began, taking the stage to accept the award. The late Toni Morrison said your life is already a miracle of chance just waiting for you to order its destiny, but in order for that destiny to manifest, I think it requires courage to have faith. It requires patience, as we just heard, and it requires a true sense of yourself. It's not easy because the past is circuitous, and it has many unexpected detours. But by the grace of God, I stand here grateful. Um, She thanked her husband, Courtney B. Vance, her family, and her Marvel collaborators. Uh, bu- 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 Bassett also acknowledged the death of um, Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman, who died of colon cancer in 2020. Boseman's death cast a shadow over the plot of Wakanda Forever. She said, we embarked on this journey together with love. We mourned, we loved, we healed. We were surrounded each and every day by the light and spirit of Chadwick Boseman. We have joy in knowing that with this historic Black Panther series, it is a part of his legacy that he helped to lead us. We showed the world what Black unity, leadership, and love looks like behind and in front of the camera. To the Marvel fans, thank you for embracing these characters and showing us so much love.
Mm.
Um, and that's kind of what we talked about when we reviewed the movie was they changed what they were going to do. Obviously, they had to.
Right.
Um, but half the film essentially is a goodbye to Chadwick Boseman. You know,
Yeah.
so um, but glad to see that she won the award.
Yeah.
It
She
was
deserves that one and so very, very, very many more.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
she killed it. She was one of the best ones on that movie. Mm.
Next up, James Gunn confirms his and Peter Safran's planned DC slate covers 8 to 10 years, and some of it will be announced next month, per his Twitter. Um,
We're just sitting here waiting, guys.
an 8 to 10 year plan. You figure they're probably gonna once they get cranking, they're probably gonna drop 2 to 3 movies a year like
Yeah.
Marvel does.
They just got to get there
So
first.
so 24 to 30 films.
Well, they said Superman's their priority because it's been too long without a proper Superman film, and I'm right there with you. And there's something. The thing I like about James is he's very vocal on Twitter about everything. There are rumors going around that they've already tapped somebody to play Superman. And there's this one actor, And he said, "This is false." He goes, "We haven't even written this." He goes, "We're not even going to think about casting until the story is written, until we know what we want to do with the character." And he said, "We have not even written the story." He said, "No, that no one has been cast or talked to." I was like, "Thank you." Like I love. He's always been big on squashing rumors,
Yeah.
so and realistic
Well,
expectations.
and that's just it. You let the rumors fester, and then people have these unrealistic
Mm-hmm.
expectations. We saw a bit of that with Spider-Man, the
Yeah.
last Spider-Man that came out. People were guessing, "Oh, is this what we're going to see? Is that what?" And some of it just
Same
didn't
thing
come
with
to
Doctor
pass.
Strange.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
there were people that left disappointed
Yeah.
because they were expecting something based on a rumor. Per Chris Hemsworth on Twitter, Extraction 2 will be launching this summer.
Bring it
Um,
on. Don't know how you
I
survive, but we're gonna find out.
I haven't heard a lot from him since his the show that he was doing. He found out that he's predisposed for Alzheimer's.
It's not that he's just predisposed. He's at like an enhanced risk for Alzheimer's. Like it's not
Yeah,
saying if, but when at this point. And during the interview, which is great because like he's such like a real dude. Like he didn't, he could have cut all that out or anything like that, but it showed his reactions and his coming to terms with it and everything like that. And it's just because I watched the clip of that, and he's a good dude,
yeah,
and that just sucks.
it does. I guess the one thing that's good about all of that is that he found out now, and
Early,
he can prepare.
right?
Um,
And
movie
Alzheimer's is a scary
studio,
thing. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it really is. This next news story is very interesting, especially for a studio like Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, movie studios, this comes from IGN and Carson Burton. Um, Movie studios can now be sued for deceptive trailers. A lawsuit surrounding the 2019 film Yesterday may make deceptive trailers disappear. Um, According to Variety, U.S. District Judge Stephen Wilson ruled on Tuesday movie studios can be sued under false advertising laws if they release deceptive movie trailers. The case stems involved uh, the 2019 movie Yesterday, which stars Himesh Patel as a man in a world without the Beatles. The trailer for Yesterday included clips of actor Anna de Armas, famous for roles in Knives Out, The Gray Man, and Blonde. Two fans of the actor filed a lawsuit in January alleging they had rented Yesterday after seeing her in the trailer. However, once they saw the movie, they discovered De Armas was cut out of the final film.
Mm.
Originally, De Armas was indeed supposed to play a love interest for Patel's character in Yesterday. However, she was cut out of the film entirely because audiences didn't like the idea of Patel moving on from his primary love interest, played by Lily James. Previously, Universal tried to throw out the lawsuit. The studio argued movie trailers are entitled to protection under the First Amendment, claiming a trailer is an artistic, expressive work and should be considered as non-commercial speech. Wilson rejected the argument, saying a trailer is in fact commercial speech. Thus, trailers are subject to the California false advertising law and the state's unfair competition law. Um, this is interesting because Marvel will film stuff
Mm-hmm.
specifically for a trailer to get to kind of throw people off the scent of
Right.
being able to determine what's going on. So in theory now, somebody now that law is specifically in the state of California, so we'll use that. Somebody could in the state of California say, I went to see that movie because I thought that scene was going to be in the film and it had me excited and
Mm-hmm.
I got there and it wasn't, so they lied.
Right. It's
It's
it's tricky.
it's to me it's not a huge deal because it just means what Marvel's probably going to do is give us a lot less in the trailers.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I think they should do anyways, personally.
yeah, and they'll probably cut the number of trailers back as
Mm-hmm.
well. But it's just such things like that happen. A trailer gets put together, and then near the end, before the film gets released, a focus group lets them know something like that, like they didn't like that character in the movie, so they cut the film after trailers have already been put out
Mm-hmm.
there. It happens, but these guys just took it to
Yeah.
another level.
Wonder how much money you get from that.
I mean, they're out the rental fee, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't think a whole lot. It's not like their lives have been altered because her scene got cut from the movie. If she's not mad about it, they shouldn't be.
Right.
Uh,
She's already gotten paid. She don't care.
right. I still need to watch Blonde though. I haven't watched it yet.
I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna be honest with you here.
She played Marilyn Monroe
Okay.
in the Netflix film Blonde, and that was controversial because she didn't replicate Monroe's voice. She kind of used her own voice,
Hmm.
uh, and so some people had issue with that. But I think it was the first Netflix project to get an NC-17 rating because of the nudity involved with Monroe's life.
Yeah.
Tyler's like, that's on the watch list. And if you're watching the video right now of this on YouTube, you know that Tyler has shared his screen because this last bit of news, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has dropped a new trailer.
This should be our last like big trailer before the movie because they usually do two, and we go from there.
I wonder if we'll get anything last minute because the film comes out.
The 16th or 17th of February. So
Yeah,
we're right at a month.
It comes out about a week and a half after the Super Bowl.
Oh, what if we get so I think, honestly, throwing a prediction here, I think we get a Loki season 2 trailer during the Super Bowl, and that will be our big Marvel film. That or Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because we don't have anything from those yet, right?
I'm good with that.
So I think that because they always do a big. The 1 year was Black Widow. Last year was what was last year's?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
No.
was because that was December.
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness is what it was. So they always have their big, whatever comes out in May is their big movie they show off. And I imagine Loki will be there because they should be done with filming or almost done filming yet. So Guardians, I know they're done with.
Cool.
So, but here we go. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania 2 or trailer 2. Oh, Fury's excited.
You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter. But you've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that?
So cool.
Time.
It can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. You cannot trust him.
I don't care who this guy is. I just lost so much.
MODOK.
He can give us a second chance.
Let me make this easy for you. You will bring me what I need, or everything you call a life will end.
This is all my fault.
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
You thought you could win.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. I'm sorry, Cassie.
Much better trailer than the first one.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. And so from that, it looks like if he's not going to, he's willing to sacrifice himself to stop Kang.
Mm-hmm.
We already know from the movies that they're bringing out after this. That's not gonna
Right.
happen. But it'll be interesting to see
It
how
looks so good. Like it had me. It even grabbed me even more when you see Kang curb stomping Ant-Man's face mask. Like that looks so good. Like just so ominous. Like this dude just does not care. He wants to kill you. I mean, he's our next Thanos for the next 3 or 4 years.
Do you think that? Because, like I said, they've sold it in the trailer like Scott Lang's gonna potentially sacrifice himself.
Mm.
I think we get a character death, but I think it's Wasp.
I think it's either Wasp or Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching like a bunch of people talk about it, breaking down the trailer down. They think the whole, you run out of time because they make you look like it's Ant-Man trying to get time back with Cassie from the snap. But I think, and from listening to other people bring this theory up, that it's Hank Pym trying to get time back with Janet, his wife. Because, they've been decades without each other. And that's what's all revolved around. It's not about Scott. Because Cassie, I mean, there's just 5 years and he's been hanging out with her anyways. So, I don't know. Could be a misdirect, could not be. But
Probably is.
That's
Probably
a theory
is.
I like.
The whole trailer leads you to think it's Scott and Cassie, even the point where she says it's all my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you saw the first trailer, you know what the thing that's her fault is opening the door,
Getting sucked in.
Yeah, to the quantum realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. I mean, losing the time with her father wouldn't have been her fault anyway, even if she had a guilty conscience about he's doing this because of me.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense.
I'm just excited because MODOK looks really good in this. They show 2 different versions of him. The whole little World War Z ant kind of thing where all the Scott Langs are crawling up together trying to reach a point. So cool looking. This trailer's got me sold on this movie. First trailer, not so much, but this one looks really good.
Yep. All right, releases. I don't have any.
No. First of the year.
Yeah.
One of those. Chris, have you been playing any games over these past 3 weeks? Did you finally put down MLB The Show?
No, I'm still doing some stuff with it. Yeah. I'm still doing just a few things. I play one game each night and then move on to something else. I did get back into the Quarry a little bit more. I've still got to finish it though. And once I get done with it, I'll probably, because that one's a much shorter experience.
Yeah.
So once I get finished with it, then the time I've been putting into it, I'll put back into Ragnarok. And
just what perfect games what that was. I've been playing a slew of video games. High on Life, I know before we went on the break, I was starting it. It's okay. I've kind of stopped playing it so much. I'll come back eventually, but it's not at my aforementioned in my brain here. Destiny, obviously, I play that all the time. Played a new game called Gundam Evolution, which is a MOBA kind of. It's a 5v5 arena shooter, which it's very much like Overwatch and Overwatch 2, but it's just with Gundams. It's very cool. I love Gundam. So that's fun. Battlefield 2042. Me and my cousin jumped into that this past week, where it came on Game Pass, and I was like, oh, I've heard good things, and they fixed a lot of things, and man, that game's got its hooks in me. If you want like a realistic army shooter instead of Call of Duty, where it's like an arena shooter, this is the way to do it. It's fun. Also played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm still playing through it. Final Fantasy 16 comes out this year, and I've been putting this one on the back burner for a while, and it's got its hooks in me. So that's like my story game I'm playing right now. And then I played a game that I put on my list for top game of 2022 with Cult of the Lamb, where that's a very roguelike game, and you are a lamb. You got killed in a sacrifice. The devil character brings you back to life, says, hey, you work for me now, make your own cult, but you have to take down the people that killed you. And so you recruit these animals, is what they are, because you're a lamb, and you can name these animals, create them, kind of personalities and stuff like that. So I've got a Chris in there, I've got my wife in there, I've got my dogs in there. It's just, and I think and you can sacrifice your cult, you can do all sorts of different things, and it's very fun. And it was on sale, for it's only $40 originally, I got it for $20. I've kind of put a pause on it because I'm going through playing some other games, but it's fun and not hard to get into. It's a nice little funny cheeky thing.
Is the Chris character, is it a jackass? Is it?
No, I think I've got him working either in the farm or harvesting wood, because you get assigned tasks for them to do. But it's got me a sacrifice option on there yet. I'm like, I don't want to sacrifice anybody yet. So, but everyone can grow old and die and things like that, because it's going through a life cycle. But it's pretty cool. I recommend that game. News here. I only got two things really. Netflix's live adaptation of Assassin's Creed has lost its showrunner. I'm going to PCGamer.com by Andy Chalk. In October 2020, Netflix announced that they're teaming up with Ubisoft to make a live-action Assassin's Creed show. More than 2 years later, though, there's still no sign of it, and may be a while yet before the show sees the light of the day. As writer and showrunner Jeb Stewart recently told Collider he's no longer involved. Stewart didn't say why he parted ways with Netflix on the show, but said that Collider's a suggestion that was related to a difference in vision and was fair. Quote, I think it was a little bit of a move of executives from LA to London, and it allowed the London group, who unfortunately had to inherit my vision of what it was instead of getting to develop their own vision, Stewart said. So I think that's fair. I know it's going to be great whenever it comes out. I think the Ubisoft guys are fantastic. I think it's a terrific franchise, and it was just a good mutual time to move on for both sides. Give me this show already, all right? I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're 3 years since the announcement. Come on.
They're wasting time at this point.
Yeah. It's... God, I don't want to get canceled though, because I mean, love me some Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean? Love the Creed. PlayStation Plus January titles are up. PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. You get Jedi Fallen Order and Axiom Verge 2, and for PlayStation 4 only, Fallout 76. Notable new releases this week: Persona 3 Portable comes to everything besides PlayStation, because that was originally for the PSP. Is where this first game came out. But it's coming to everything for the first time since then. And it's also coming on Game Pass Day 1, which this one and Persona 4 Golden, which comes out both on January 19th. For Persona 4 Golden, I've actually got up here. Where's my Vita? It's right here on the shelf. I'm behind my 10 here. And I've played Persona 4 Golden, just haven't beat it. And now I'm going to go through the franchise and beat 3 and beat 4. But these are 100-hour games, and so just be ready for the next couple of weeks. Tyler, what you playing? I'm still in Persona 3. It's the 4th. That's January 19th. Fire Emblem Engage, the new Fire Emblem game for Switch, comes out January 20th. And Monster Hunter Rise for everything but PC and Switch, January 20th as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been your first true form of Nerdwide podcast. We are back how it should be. Of course, 2 episodes from now is our 100th episode, so we've got some things planned that I think I'm going to do, and we'll see then. But other than that, we are back on our same year, new year, but same show, same fun, and hopefully some good shows and films. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening and or watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Nerdwide Podcast. Don't forget to share it on all your favorite social media platforms, and forget to rate and review this podcast at whatever podcasting service you use. Don't forget, we will start reviewing The Last of Us next week's episode, which we're going to watch it here in about 30 minutes. I can't freaking wait. Social media, you can follow Nerdwide on Twitter at nerd_wide. You can follow myself personally at Ty_Haynes. And you can follow Chris at MavTN7. On Facebook, if you're over on that side, go to facebook.com. On that search bar, type in Nerdwide Podcast, nerdwide.com, Nerdwide. We're the first things that pop up. Follow us on either one of those social media platforms. And that is the first way you can know when an episode goes live if you are not subscribed on YouTube or podcasting service, which I highly suggest you do. But as always, this has been this week's episode of the Nerdwide Podcast. And guys, we cannot wait to talk The Last of Us and The Pale Blue Eye with you next week. And we'll talk to you then. Thank you so much for watching.